Hello friends, this is Durga from IT Varsity as part of Java Foundations for naives or high school students. At this time we are talking about basic programming using Java, and so far I have covered up to while loop, and as part of this I will try to cover for loop, and I am working on Rishi's laptop here remotely, and I will demonstrate a few details about the for loop. So for loop syntax. So first we need to understand the syntax. So when it comes to while loop, this is one type of syntax and this is another type of syntax. Okay. Now when it comes to for loop, syntax will be like this. There will be initialization from whatever value you want to start. Let's say you want to start from 1. Okay. And then you can actually say the condition which returns true or false. Okay, and then increment or decrement. So this is the syntax of for loop, and then you can have whatever logic you want. Okay, let me first okay, then implement logic. It could be anything, it could be printing the numbers, it could be anything. Okay, so this is the way typically we develop a for loop. A for loop can be like this. In this case, let's say we want to start from 2. Okay, and if I less than or equal to 100, I equal to I plus 2. So directly I am trying to print the even numbers. Okay, there is a exception here. I think I have to declare also. I have to give the data type. Yeah. And then I can say system.out.println I. Okay, and then you can say run as Java application. Okay, so now you can see the numbers printed uh, in in the even. So whatever you develop in for loop, you can also develop in the while loop. But while loop is a bit more generic. For example, if you cannot increment by a fixed number like this, I equal to I plus 2 or I equal to I plus 3, etc., you will not be able to develop for loop. Okay, if you can increment with a fixed number, like in this case I equal to I plus 2 or I equal to I plus 3 or I equal to I plus 1, etc., you can either go for while loop or for loop. So while loop is a bit generic, for loop is a bit user friendly whenever you want to increment or decrement with a fixed value. So that's the difference between while loop and for loop. Both are for looping only, and whatever you develop in for loop, you can actually implement using while loop also. But while loop is a bit tedious or unreadable compared to for loop, and that's why people tend to use more for loop when it comes to incrementing or decrementing the numbers. You can see everything is clubbed together. The initialization of the variable on which you want to iterate, the condition, and the increment or decrement logic are at one place. And syntactically, it will force you to use these things. as it forced you use these things, getting into infinite loop because of handling these typical this typical logic um, uh, will be less. So the mistakes, the human typos will be less when you try to use for loop, because the initialization condition and the increment or decrement logic are at one place. Whereas for while loop, you declare outside the while condition, you increment towards the end of the while loop or decrement towards the end of the while loop. If you forget this, what will happen? It will get into the infinite loop. So for loop is much more reliable and effective way of programming, as long as the increment and decrement logic is uniform. But in other cases, while loop is much more generic and powerful than for loop. There are scenarios which can be implemented only with while loop but not with for loop. Okay, so that's about the loops. We have for as well as while. For this simple scenario, we can use either of the loop construct, whether while or for, it doesn't matter. But in some scenarios, you have to use while loop only. Now, to make it a little bit more interesting, I want to create a new function called sum of integers. Void sum of integers, and then int lb comma int ub. Okay, now either you can use for loop or while loop. Sum of integers means I want to increment from lower bound to upper bound, and I want to assign the sum of all those numbers to a new variable, and I want to return. Okay, as I have to return the sum of numbers, in this case the return type is integer. So first we need to understand the problem statement. The function takes two parameters, lower bound and upper bound, and the return type is integer. Always functions return only one value, and in this case we are trying to return an integer value. So first we will create a variable by name result, and we will assign it to 0, or we are initializing it to 0. And first I will put the return statement here so that we don't get the compile time errors. Okay, so I declared the variable and I return the result, and now I have to either develop using for loop or while loop. I have to iterate from lower bound to upper bound, and I have to add that to the result. Okay, so it will look like this. I am using for loop here. For LB, okay, 1 minute. I think I just have to say like this, semicolon LB less than or equal to 100 and LB plus plus, not less than or equal to 100. I have to say UB, because we are trying to use LB itself as lower bound. We don't need to initialize here. That's why I say just semicolon, because initialization is optional in this case. We should not initialize to anything. Okay, and then I put the condition, as long as LB is less than or equal to UB, I have to increment. So this is the increment logic, and then I have to say result plus equal to lower bound. So either you can say result equal to result plus LB, this is one way of doing, or we can also say result plus equal to LB. Okay, and then finally I am just returning the result. It is throwing some warning. Let us see what is the warning. Okay, this function is not used anywhere, that's why it is showing. unused method kind of message. So now we can actually go to our main function. I'm commenting this out. And also I'm commenting out this for loop. Now I am saying system dot out dot println sum of integers between LB and UB is okay, and then our function name sum of integers LB comma UB. That's it. Now you say run as Java application. You got it. Sum of integers between 1 and 100 is 5050. Okay, is it clear?
Yeah.
So now I will give you exercises and then we will wrap up for today. Okay.
All right.
So the exercises are, first you need to tell me, don't think from the programming perspective. Okay. So if someone gives okay, yeah, you can type. If someone gives you a problem of getting sum of integers within a range you need to at least come up with two solutions and you have to tell which one is the better solution, not from the programming perspective, just from mathematics perspective. One solution I have already given. You just iterate from lower bound to upper bound and add it to a variable, add those and get the results. You can actually break into multiple lines. No, just put the comment.
No.
Yeah. Break it into one more line after come up with, yeah. Okay, that is one thing. And also you need to come up with a new function after this. Make a note after this function. Don't mess up this function itself. So after this function, define the problem statement. No, you are not out of this function yet. Okay, now make the note. Come up with a function which takes lower bound and upper bound.
Which takes?
Yeah, which takes lower bound and upper bound. and get sum of even numbers.
Okay.
Okay, don't worry too much about which one is efficient and all. Whatever solution you want, you can implement.
Okay.
Okay, and but you need to check if the lower bound and upper bound is all positive integers. I just want the sum of even integers within the range. If either lower bound or upper bound or both are passed as negative values, you just have to come out saying that uh, the parameters which are passed as lower bound or upper bound are invalid. So let's put the problem statement like this. Come up with a function which takes uh, at lower bound and upper bound and get some of the numbers. Lower bound and upper bound should be positive integers. No, just make additional note saying that lower bound and upper bound should be positive integers. That's it. Okay, and we will have class tomorrow also. Try to come up with these two things by tomorrow. We will have approximately 1.5 hour class tomorrow.
When?
Tomorrow, around the same time, probably 8 p.m.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
or a bit earlier also. I will ping you in the morning. If you have any plans for this Independence Day evening, you can let me know. We'll work around it. If you don't have plans, you can just join it as and when I pinged you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Durga.